A very good morning, everyone. Welcome to StudyIQ English. Welcome to the Hindu newspaper analysis class today. We are going to talk about the Hindu newspaper New Delhi edition for today, that's 11th October 2025. And like every day, we shall be looking at UPSC relevant articles, all the exam relevant articles from today's edition of the Hindu paper. A very good morning, Prakash and Sakshi, for being there. You're most welcome. And as all other aspirants keep joining us one after the other, let me quickly show you today's articles. We have 8 articles which are exam relevant from today. The first 3 articles are all editorial page articles. We always start with editorial articles because they are longer and more complicated, because we keep on collecting data, definition, and a lot of statistics for writing the answers in the mains. So that's why we study the editorial articles first. So here we have 3 editorial articles, all taken from page number 8. The remaining 5 articles are mostly related to quick facts, developments across the world, from Israel-Gaza peace plan to, on the other hand, somebody winning the Nobel Peace Prize, much to the discontentment of President Trump, who himself wanted to be the Nobel laureate for peace this year. So that has not happened. Somebody else has won the prize. And then we talk about China's strategic move, about the rare earth materials. We also talk about how Kerala once again seems to be at loggerheads with the central government about the total financial help. So all these are a mixed package that we are going to look at today. And let us start with the first article, editorial page. And this talks about the state of Bihar, but this time not because of the assembly elections or not because of the electoral roll, not because of the SIR. This time we are talking about unemployment in Bihar. So let us see what the article says. All of us understand that unemployment is related to GS paper 2 as we talk about vulnerable communities in India, those who are unemployed, those who are below poverty line. Definitely it is GS paper 1 also, because GS paper 1 is about Indian society and social issues and unemployment, various types of unemployment, rural unemployment, seasonal and disguised, urban unemployment, structural, vulnerable, cyclical. All these are covered under social problems in India. Now, there is a very good book. Usually, a lot of students ask about books to study social problems. Usually, you can get a lot of information from the newspaper itself. But still, if you want more clarity, then I do remember some students are using a book called Ram Ahuja, Social Problems in India. So don't buy the book, just have a look at the book if you happen to visit any bookstore or a bookshop. You can see if it works for you in terms of definition, you can take from there. But the current data and statistics are best taken from the newspaper itself. All right, so let us see what this article talks about. Very good morning, my dear Dishank, Vikash, Konjuba, Reshma, Dipesh, Niharika. Most welcome, all of you. Let's together make this an interactive and a very, very wholesome session. Okay, keep on discussing and interacting with me. Yesterday, I saw some students were asking about why the PDFs are not getting uploaded every day. Yes, we are yet to work on that. So today, after the class itself, let me start uploading the PDF. And as few students were asking how to take notes from that, it's completely up to you. You can take screenshots, you can download them, you can take notes in writing. Just take the important points and data. Don't write elaborate notes. Okay. Understand, and that's a better way of going about it. Very good morning, Subrat and Rajneesh as well. So happy to see all of you. So now let's see what this article examines. Unemployment is still a core issue in Bihar. Last month, we all were talking about demography. How today in India we are experiencing a change of demography. Most states are experiencing a lower fertility rate. But there are certain states, including Bihar, where not only is the fertility rate, the total fertility rate, TFR, on the higher side, at the same time, we see a lower level of education and a chronic problem of unemployment. This article examines unemployment, but this article says if you look at the data of unemployment in Bihar, It shows that annual unemployment rate in Bihar is only 3%. Annual unemployment rate in Bihar is only 3%, which is not too less, which is nothing to worry about as such. It is not a shocking number. It is not 10, 11, 12%. It is only 3%. If you look at the national average, the total unemployment figure for whole India, that is about 3.2%. So what is the tension here? Why should we worry about it? If all India it is 3.2, Bihar has 3, not much difference. Then why do people always say that Bihar has a chronic problem of unemployment? Because according to this article, the data here, 3% annual unemployment in Bihar is a very misleading data. It is a data that is confusing us. It is a data that is painting a very fake picture, a very artificial picture. Because in reality, this data only captures two components of Bihar population. One is the labor force participation rate in Bihar. How many people in Bihar are working and how many are actively looking for work? Second, it only captures the working population ratio. How many people are actually employees in Bihar? This data does not capture the fact that there are many people in Bihar who have become today victims of discouraged worker effect. A new word this article has taught us, discouraged, discouraged worker effect. This is the main problem that is causing unemployment and poverty in Bihar. What is it again? Discouraged worker effect. It means people in Bihar, because of lack of job opportunities, because of vocational skill development, because of low market in job opportunities like less private sector investment, very few manufacturing sector enterprise, very few colleges which teach people the right skills like digital skills and AI. Because of that, people in Bihar are now frustrated. Frustrated with lack of job, frustrated with lack of good quality education, frustrated with early marriage among women. People are now not looking for jobs so much. They have accepted the fact that they are unemployed or underemployed. And therefore, this frustration causes discouraged worker effect, where a worker is young, educated, but he or she is so frustrated that they have zero trust in the job market. They know that despite trying, they will not get a good job. And they don't want to work for a very less amount of money. Ultimately, they choose to stay unemployed. That's the problem which is hiding the real issue in Bihar. So, this unemployment rate of 3% annually is a very misleading number. In reality, if we start investigating, then Bihar is at the top of all the states which are experiencing massive unemployment. That's what the article says. Absolutely, Vikash. When I speak about total fertility rate, the number of children a woman has or can have in her lifetime, all India average today is touching 2.0. Whereas the perfect fertility rate is called replacement level fertility, that is 2.1. Bihar and there are some other states in India right now who have a TFR of 2.8, which is much higher than the national average. It is much higher than the global average because it is way more than the replacement level fertility, which should be perfect level of fertility. Very well pointed. Okay, very good morning, Eric. So that's the problem here. So now let's quickly analyze the smaller points of the article. Article says unemployment in Bihar has become a major political and developmental challenge, not just for the people of Bihar, for the whole country. After all, if people in Bihar will experience unemployment and poverty, will they not migrate into other states? Will it not lead to a longer term impact in India's total GDP and national income? It will, because all states together are a part of the same structure. India is a quasi federal country. It means whatever policies are being made at the center, they must take care of individual states according to their own needs. That's the beauty of cooperative federalism. That's the purpose of Niti Aayog. That's the purpose of Central Finance Commission and State Finance Commission, and that's the purpose of Panchayati Raj institutions. That development has to be received by every state and every village. Today, what's happening in Bihar is defeating that purpose. Let's say 2015 and 2020. During both these assembly elections in Bihar, the young people of Bihar, the voters in Bihar just wanted one thing. They really wanted jobs and livelihood. The main demand that they were making was we need jobs, we need better employment opportunities. People who have done their graduation and post graduation, people who are taking up research also. They are also the people who are experiencing either massive underemployment or unemployment. Majority of people who have communication skills, who have finished their master's degree, are also either working through call centers or they are trying to start some own business and looking for finance. Hardly there is popularity of salaried work culture in Bihar. All that points out to a systemic failure of the whole country, where we have not been able to expand the benefits of industrialization, privatization to the people of Bihar. During both 2015 and 2020 elections, the electorate in Bihar was really demanding good jobs and livelihood. That was the top priority for the voters. But paradoxically, that has not happened. The public distress because of unemployment has continued in Bihar. Now, the paradox that the article has pointed out towards, the irony that the article is pointing out, is that Bihar shows an unemployment rate of 3%, 3 to 5% only on an annual basis. But this is a very, very small number. It does not show the real labor data. So it fails to show you the real labor data on ground. That is not visible here. It doesn't show you that severe employment crisis is existing in Bihar among the youth and the women. Now, this is very, very unfortunate because please understand, just Vikash said 2 minutes before that in Bihar, the total fertility rate is above 2.5, around 2.8. What do you mean when you say that? If in a state the fertility rate is so high, that means the number of young people in the state will also be high. If young people in the state is high, that means the state is experiencing a youth bulge. What is a youth bulge? Demographic dividend. Large number of people in the age group of 15 to 59. That's called youth bulge, young population. If Bihar has a high fertility rate, naturally, Bihar will have a youth bulge. And still there is an unemployment, which is so chronic that that's the main demand of the people of Bihar, that no matter which government comes, please give us employment opportunities. Bihar experiences one of the highest out migration in India after UP. UP and Bihar contribute to highest migration rates. People move out. Those who are technically skilled, they move out to work in companies, private sector jobs in southern states, where you do have a larger presence of private jobs, highly industrialized states. And those who are unskilled and semi-skilled, they migrate for either agriculture labor or they migrate for construction work. But the unfortunate thing is that out migration is very high. If there is a constant brain drain in Bihar, who will create opportunities and who will create development in Bihar is another question here. So 3% unemployment rate is a small number. It doesn't show the wastage of youth bulge in Bihar. It doesn't capture the high rate of unemployment and underemployment in women and youth in Bihar. Because whenever you measure unemployment, you have to focus on two concepts. One is the total labor force participation rate, and the other is the worker population ratio. These two are very important. What is labor force participation rate? The percentage of population above 15 years of age who is either working or who is trying to find work. They are actively looking for work. They are the labor force participation rate. How many people in the country are participating in work, in the labor force, workforce? What is WPR? WPR is worker population ratio. Percentage of population above 15 years who is actually employed. The ratio of people, the percentage of people above 15 who are actually working, who do some job, who are earning some money, are the real WPR. In Bihar, both are low. In Bihar, both are low. Both are lesser than the national average, and this contributes to the phenomena of discouraged worker effect in Bihar. Discouraged worker effect. Now, please use these terms as you write your answers, my dear. When you write answers in GS paper 2, GS paper 301 about poverty, unemployment, hunger, and if you discuss unemployment, suppose you take the case study of Bihar. So, please write these points. Fertility rate, youth bulge, paradox, 3 to 5% number of annual unemployment figure. Reality is different. Reality means there is a much higher level of unemployment. There is youth distress because LFPR, labor force participation rate below national average, worker population ratio, how many are actually earning, much below the national average. That creates the discouraged worker effect in Bihar. That's something you have to talk about. What is discouraged worker effect? It happens when both labor force participation rate and worker population ratio both are low. In Bihar, both are low. That shows not only are less people working, but less people are also looking for job. Nobody is interested in finding job because they know they will not get it. So the number says 3% unemployment. But in reality, the worker population ratio shows very few people work and very few are interested in finding work. That's the level of frustration. Now let's just look at worker population ratio in Bihar. Total number of people who actually work in Bihar is 51.6%. If you talk about all India average, what is the worker population ratio all India? Then you will realize it is about 58.2% annually. Look at the difference here. Bihar 51.6%, all India 58.2%. Now, if you look at female labor force participation rate, how many women are participating in work and how many women are looking for work? Female labor force participation rate. All India, right now, 42%. Talking about Bihar, 30%. Look at the difference again. How less it is as compared to the national average? Yes. Now, there is one more data I want to share with you from the article. Regular salaried workers, people who get salary every month. Such workers in Bihar are only 8.7%. Nationally, all India average, it is 23%. Can you look and spot the difference now? Bihar, regular salary, regular wage workers, 8.7%, all India 23%. Now, at this point, some of you might be thinking, I'm sure it must be coming in your mind. Why all India so low? All India also only 23%? Yes. Why? Why? What's the answer for that? Because majority Indians are working in the informal sector. In the informal sector, there is no regular salary. It's very unreliable. So if you look at only the people who get regular wage, fixed and regular salary, that's only 23% all India. Because very few people work in formal sector in India. Majority is informal sector. But Bihar, this is 8.7%, much lower. So what is all this data showing? All this data proves the point that 3% annual unemployment rate is false. It's an illusion. In reality, in Bihar, people are experiencing discouraged worker effect. And what does that mean? Low labor force participation rate, low worker population ratio. Very few people are working. Very few people are trying to look for work. Why are people not looking for work? Because they don't want to participate in this job market, which is frustrating now. Many women, many youth have stopped looking for work because they know there is a lack of job opportunity. Government jobs are very competitive. Private sector jobs are not available easily in places like Bihar, owing to poor industrialization. At the same time, because very few people are looking for work, very few people want to find work, the unemployment rate looks very less. Do you see the paradox here? If you're not understanding, please let me know. Is everybody clear with what I just said? Focus once again, please. Total unemployment rate in Bihar is 3%. It's quite okay, not a big number, 3%. Real reason is because very few people in Bihar are now trying to find work. If people are not interested in finding job, naturally the result will be that unemployment rate is only 3%. It is hiding the real number of people. Because labor force participation rate means not only am I working, I should also try to look for a work. But what if I don't start finding work? What if I just sit at home and say, no, I don't want to work? Naturally, that will reduce the total unemployment rate. It's only 3% in Bihar, but the real picture is not that. It is a fake picture. It's a false picture that this figure is painting. People are not finding job. That's why 3% unemployment rate. If everybody starts finding work, if the discouraged worker effect gets low, then unemployment rate in Bihar could cross 10% also. That's the real problem here. Many people are not finding work because let's now look at some other important data from the article. Now look at the literacy rate here. Literacy rate in Bihar is about how much? It is barely about 73.2%. As compared to the national average, which is 80%, it is again very, very low. And literacy is not education. Literacy means the ability to read and write, even if you are just writing your name. That is also low. That's 73.2%. Now, talking about share of manufacturing in the GDP, it's among the lowest among all the states in Bihar. Talking about people who work as casual laborers. Now, who is a casual laborer? A casual laborer is that who works in the informal sector. There is a very good word I want all of you to know. Social dumping. Have you heard the word social dumping? If anybody has heard the word social dumping, wonderful. If anybody needs to know more about social dumping, GS paper 2, labor exploitation, let me know. I can create a video if you want. Social dumping. Casual laborers in Bihar who are victims of social dumping, who work in the informal sector with low salary, no social security, is also very high. That is about 23.8%. Very, very high. These are casual laborers. Hence, in Bihar, there is a very high rate of out migration. Most people leave the state to look for work outside the state. Apart from UP, Bihar has the highest out migration rate. But in India, migration is not easy. When people go out to other states like Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Telangana, Maharashtra, sometimes owing to linguistic barriers, these people experienced abuse. They experience alienation. They become victims of ethnocentrism, where people do not like outsiders. They do not accommodate people who come from a different culture and a different language. Sometimes they are denied job opportunities because of lack of communication skills, and that's what they are suffering from. At the same time, Bihar has a problem of low urbanization. If you look at the total urbanization trend, then in Bihar, only 12 to 13% population lives in urban areas. Again, this is very, very low as compared to national average. India is one of the fastest urbanizing countries in the world by 2050. And still Bihar has 13% urban population. There is an absence of industrial corridors and industrial clusters to absorb those people who are graduates and postgraduates. There are educated people, yes, but there is no sufficient amount of industrial cluster to absorb them. There is inadequate power supply, inadequate logistics and supply chain. Because of that, private companies do not invest in the state much. So, what do we need? What could be the solution here? After all, each state matters. We are living in the times of cooperative federalism. If one organ of the body fails, the whole body suffers. If few states are suffering, it's a failure for the whole country. It's a systematic failure. It's not about a problem or an issue with just one state. So, is there a solution here? Yes. One, we need stronger school infrastructure. Today in the Hindu, there was another article. I thought of bringing it, but then I thought, let's not waste your time. I will talk about it. It said that some states have made it compulsory for school children to learn AI from third grade. Can you imagine third grade? You and I probably never heard about that before our grade 12. But these people now, young children will learn it from grade 3 onwards. So such programs are needed for Bihar also, compulsorily at the government and aided school level. Teach more vocational skill, teach more AI computerized skill, so better schooling. Second, better vocational training. Indian government talks about PM Vishwakarma. Indian government talks about Skill India. Please implement that also across government and municipal schools too. Yes, we need young children to abide by National Education Policy 2020 rules, where vocational skills up to grade 10th high school should be made mandatory or at least optional. Then, at the same time, we must also promote intensive manufacturing sector industries in Bihar. Why? Because manufacturing sector in India is anyway low. And India needs to compete with countries like with countries like China, which are manufacturing hubs today, if you want to improve our export market. So what other opportunity can we have apart from Bihar? Bihar has young population youth bulge. If we promote more manufacturing sector, we will promote more jobs, because manufacturing sectors like textile, food processing, small machinery, gems and jewelry are labor intensive jobs. They need a lot of labor, so we will promote employment. Then there is a special belt, Patna Muzaffarpur belt. We need to promote more industrial corridors in the Ganga river area and in the Patna Muzaffarpur belt, which experiences a high level of social economic backwardness. At the same time, please promote self help groups, intensifying SHG like we have done in Kerala, Karnataka, and Maharashtra. That will give women some power to start jobs, entrepreneurship, and then, of course, promote portable welfare policies like One Nation, One Ration Card, e-Shram portal. When we intensify all of this together, there will be a solution. After all, each state matters. Because you often get a question in GS paper 2 which says India is not one single country. It is a pocket of small regions. Yes, we are. So if one pocket is torn, the whole chain suffers, right? So we need to work on that on priority. Now, quickly, the comments from my lovely students. What are they saying? Yes, yes, absolutely. I can't see your name, bacha, but yes, I got your comment. Daily, you need the upload in explanation. Yes, you will get that. Pakka. Okay. Yes, Vikash. They are trying to hide the real picture. Absolutely, Dipesh. Literacy is about the ability to read and write only. Anuj, very good morning, my dear. Linguistic issues, Vikash. I absolutely said that. The goal. Good morning. Good morning, my dear. Now, the question quickly. With reference to employment situation in Bihar, as it is shown in the periodic labor force survey, look at some statements here. One, Bihar's unemployment rate is lower than national average, but its worker population ratio and labor force participation rate are also the lowest in India. Two, the low unemployment rate in Bihar shows success of industrialization and job creation. Three, the discouraged worker effect. I just explained. Very good morning. Johan, very good morning. Okay, Dipesh and Vikash already answered long back. Okay, quickly. The discouraged worker effect, what does that mean? It means in a situation where work population ratio and labor force participation rate both are low, where people are not only unemployed, but they also are not trying to find for job. They don't want to look for a job. That's discouraged worker effect. This explains why many people in Bihar are neither employed nor are they trying to look for work. It leads to a fake unemployment figure like this one, 3%. So which is the valid answer? Yes, Dipesh and Vikas started answering. And they said that the answer here is C. And then, of course, we have Johan has answered. Let's see who else has answered. Shubham answered. Varsha, Vikash, Rajneesh, Reshma, Dishank. Yes, Kojumba answered. And Rolnu. Very good morning. Yes, absolutely C is the valid answer. Very well answered. Correct. Absolutely correct. Second statement is not right. In Bihar, we do not have industrialization as much as we should have. That's why everything is below national average. Labor force participation also, workforce ratio also, women participation also, and salaried employees are also only 8%. Very good morning, my dear Vansh. Okay, so C is the right answer. Very well answered. Very good. Quickly, the next article, editorial page again, page number 8. Crime patterns. Now, this is an article which is not very theoretical, it is mostly data. Initially, I thought let's skip it. But then I got it because sometimes students end up remembering data because this is NCRB data, National Crime Records Bureau by the Ministry of Home Affairs. Why is it important? Because for social problems like crime, dowry, femicide, homicide, crime against children, crime against scheduled tribe, GS paper 2, vulnerable communities, sometimes this data helps you. It helps you in writing it in your answer. That's why I got this article. I will discuss it under 2 minutes. Quick article. We all know, we are seeing for the last 4-5 days that National Crime Records Bureau has released its data for various kind of crimes that happen in India. Now the NCRB works under the Ministry of Home Affairs, and its role is to highlight, to release a report which shows crime patterns across the country, across women, across children, across SC, ST, across PWD, various kinds of crime in various states and in various regions of India. But the problem is, just like the census of 2021 has been delayed, and now people are saying it will be released only in 2027. You can blame it on COVID, you can blame it on any other problem, but census was delayed. Similarly, the NCRB data has also been delayed. It was supposed to be released in 2024, January or February. And when is it coming? Now. August, September 2025. When you get a data so late, how will it help you in making policy? This reminds me of a very interesting comment. One of the students was talking to me, and she said that, ma'am, I read somewhere that when we are looking at the moon or when we are looking at the stars, so the light takes so many years in reaching us. So maybe what we are seeing has already happened in the past. So I was like, okay, that's a good food for thought. Something similar I was thinking of when I was reading this article in the morning, that if you get a data from 2023, now in 2025, you are looking at a situation that is past. How will this help us in making accurate policies in the present time? That is the problem. So we need some upgradation on that data, correct? Very good morning, Vansh. Yes. Isn't it? Yes, data is important. Data is important, Dipesh. I will obviously always tell you that for every answer you are writing, whether it's your optional or whether it's your GS paper 1 to 4. Why I'm saying 4? Because there are 10 marks direct questions, also not the case studies. You don't need data in case studies, but for theory questions of ethics, yes, data is important. I will never say it is optional. Because only writing theory and only writing interpretation means how are you trying to prove your point there? Data and statistics are like validations. You validate your own point, and that's important. So for every argument you made, there has to be some data. It could be any data. It could be Indian government, it could be IMF, World Bank, anything, but it has to be accurate. Updated data, correct Veda, absolutely. So that is the problem. Now this data is coming after 2 years. So what to do? But at least it is showing us some trend. So this article is talking about how this year the crime has been shown to be very high across children, across dowry demands, and across scheduled tribe population. The article is trying to explore why are these three categories so high. Total number of murders across India has come down. That's correct. The number of murders that used to happen, it has decreased by 2.8%. But dowry cases have increased, crime against children have increased, cyber crimes have increased, and crimes against scheduled tribe are increased. These are certain findings here. So these social problems are just an example of how the government needs to focus especially on scheduled tribal development. because the data of NCRB 2023 has proven that there is about 28% crime against scheduled tribe out of all crimes registered. And if you talk about cyber crimes, then cyber crimes are 31.2% of all the crimes that take place. Very, very high. Cyber crime and scheduled tribe crime. Why such high crimes against scheduled tribe? Because this data has been increasing due to Manipur violence. If you remember, Manipur has been experiencing violence between the Kuki-Zo and the Meitei community. You remember that? Because of this ethnic violence between Kuki-Zo and Meitei, identified scheduled tribals of the state, the total number of killings, rapes, abduction, attacks on tribals have increased to about 28% now. Why cyber crimes have increased? Because of late there are too many crimes regarding UPI, regarding e-wallet. Online digital arrest is happening. OTP based crimes are happening. All these have also become too high. And who are getting impacted the most? The vulnerable people. It is generally the people above 60 years who are getting misled because of cyber crime. Their money is being taken off. They are being fooled. They are being abused. Then talking about scheduled tribes, they are also vulnerable. Crime against them shows a failure of controlling that. All these are the highlights of the NCRB report. So now NCRB is an authority under the Ministry of Home Affairs which is responsible for collecting all the data. IPC, how many cases registered under Indian Penal Code IPC, Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita? How many crimes were registered under special and local laws? How many crimes have been registered in various states and various UTs across India? Scheduled tribe, scheduled caste crimes, women, children, cyber crimes, environmental offences. All these are collected by NCRB. Data is compiled and released. But this is a complex process because this data fails to show what is the regional variation in crime. For example, there are certain states where crimes are too high against women. There are some other states where the crimes are less. Cyber crimes, some states that are highly industrialized and where people have more access to internet and smartphones, the cyber crimes are higher as compared to states where there is lesser internet penetration and low smartphone adoption. So data is very variable across the country. For example, urban India has shown higher crime as compared to rural India. State to state, there is a huge difference. For example, crime against women and tribals are higher in Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, UP, Bihar. But digital and cyber crimes are more in Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Kerala. So it is a very variable data, let's understand. But delayed publication is the real problem here. If the data comes after 2 years, what much can we do in understanding the real nature of the crime? For example, from 2021 to 2023, there is a change that has happened. And what change is that? Crime against scheduled tribes increased too much because of ethnic violence in Manipur. Similarly, online sexual abuse of children has increased by 31.2%. Dowry related deaths 14.9%. This is right now the overall figure that the report has given. There are certain Indian states, for example, central Indian states like Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh. These states show that crime against tribals are very, very high right now. Why are they so high? Because these states have a higher tribal population. So tribals are experiencing crimes that are related to land alienation. Land is being taken away from the tribals to create national parks, sanctuaries, industrial corridors, wildlife corridors. Similarly, displacement. Tribals are being displaced. A very good case study can be the Great Nicobar Island project. Why has India made it? Because India wants a stronger presence in the IOR, Indian Ocean region. Because India wants to patrol and monitor the Strait of Malacca. But does it have a side effect? Yes. The tribals of the area, Shompen and Nicobari, have a problem. They are saying that we are experiencing a large-scale displacement. Who is going to be responsible for that? And that's also the similar nature of crime against scheduled tribes in Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan. At the same time, mining is a major reason why the ecology where tribals live is also getting destroyed. Poor implementation of acts like FISA, Panchayat extension rights to tribal areas, to give the tribal councils rights like panchayat bodies, to make them more empowered. That is not implemented properly. Similarly, Forest Right Act, under which tribals have some rights on the forest 2006, is also something that is not properly implemented right now. At the same time, on the one hand, you are seeing a rise in UPI transactions. Telangana showed the highest number of UPI transactions, but wherever there is a highest UPI e-wallet transaction, there is also a high use of internet, smartphone, but also a high rate of online crime. Because although people are going digital, but there is a lack of awareness about digital literacy. We have cyber police stations, but in reality, they don't do much to help you. At the same time, we also have a lack of proper training for cyber police. For example, 1,77,000 cases of cyber crime against children have been reported, but has something been done to prevent them? School awareness, college awareness, nothing is being done. At the same time, overall in 2023, under the POCSO Act, Prevention of Sexual Crimes Against Children, against the POCSO Act, we have seen a high number of crimes being registered. But this also sometimes is a problem because there are young children, teenagers, who are in consensual relationship. They are willingly doing early marriage or they are in the live-in relationship. But because of family complaints, such crimes are getting registered under POCSO. Similarly, online cyber crimes are not being registered as a part of cybercrime division. They are also being registered under POCSO. The number of POCSO complaints have increased. That means delay in jurisdiction. But the real nature, is it cyber, is it consensual, that is not being understood. At the same time, dowry cases are on the rise. Why? There is a contradiction in the Dowry Prohibition Act also. The Dowry Prohibition Act also has come with certain contradictions. There is a section 3 of the Dowry Prohibition Act which says that if a gift is given happily, willingly, then it is not a dowry. And this is misinterpretation because then it leads to lack of sufficient reporting. Similar is the Domestic Violence Act 2005. It prevents every woman in the household, whether a wife or a sister or a mother, against domestic abuse. Plus, it also gives benefits to partners in a live-in relationship. But majority number of times, cases aren't being reported. Majority numbers of times, crime is normalized against women. So you see, these are the certain gaps we have. So despite having a data, there is not much we are doing to use that data. Plus, as Vikash is as somebody asked, who asked that question? Somebody said, why was the delay there? Yes, Veda was asking, why was there a delay in publication of the report? Naturally, many reasons must be there, no? Must be COVID. 2020 to 2022, all projects, all data collection was delayed. Then at the same time, there were other delays as well. For example, compilation could have taken time. Political controversies sometimes, enough reporting is not being done. It's a trend in India, by the way. Census delay is shocking. But NCRB, often it is delayed. So that is what we have to fast track that. Collect data online. Allow people, encourage them to participate and report. So all those things are important. Delay means denial, right? Yes, dowry versus alimony. Absolutely. Another very good morning order. Seeing you after so long. Okay. Absolutely. That's a very valid point you've raised. Johan, when you say that, should we not create an amendment to the Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribe POA, Prevention of Atrocity Act? Yes, it was initially passed in 1989, but later it was amended. In 2005 also, 15 also, 19 also. Amendment has been done. Implementation is lacking. Okay, implementation is lacking. Absolutely, Vansh. Very well said. Sometimes there is a delay because people don't even understand the nature of cyber crimes. They don't even know where to go and report. They normalize things like dowry, that what is wrong in dowry demand, it's normal. So these are also some problems. Cultural issue. That is something, that is a gap in the law, Veda. That's a valid question. If dowry is a crime, then why don't you criminalize high alimony demand too? It should be, absolutely, I agree. Until the money is used as maintenance for a woman who has no job or her children, definitely there has to be a stricter law against alimony. See, gender crime is a gender crime. It doesn't mean it is happening only with women. A crime that is gendered in nature can happen across genders. Okay, it is not just about women. So I absolutely agree there. Okay. Okay, Niharika, absolutely I can make a video on social dumping. Definitely I can do that. Okay. Now let's quickly proceed with a question here. Now, with reference to the findings of NCRB, Report 2023 that was delayed, look at these options. One, crime against scheduled tribe shows highest percentage increase among all other crime categories, mainly because of Manipur violence, Kuki-Zo and Meitei community. Two, cyber crimes in India have declined in 2023 compared to previous year because of improved digital policing. Three, in most cases of crime against children, the offender, the person who has committed the crime, is known to the child. I'll give you a hint, that's true. It's a very heartbreaking thing to say, but it's true. Four, dowry related crimes showed a double digit increase despite only a marginal increase in overall crimes against women. So, which of these statements are valid here? Think again. Think once more. Look at the first and the second statement before you answer. Yes, even service people are getting digitally arrested order. Absolutely. Look at the level of crimes that are happening. I mean, imagine you're sitting in your own. First time I heard, I found it funny. And later I was so angry on myself. It's not even funny, it is mentally disturbing. A person being arrested in their own house. Can you imagine the level of psychological harassment that is? You're sitting for 10 hours in your house because you think you have done a crime and you are under digital arrest. So the nature of these crimes is absolutely shocking. Absolutely. That's a valid thing you're saying, Johan. Correct. There are reports like the WPI. There are reports like Global Gender Gap Index, Corruption Index. All these are valid reports. They are released on time every year. Why? Because monitoring is very, very systematic. Because data collection is very digitized. It's a very systematic process. When you talk about India, there is a lot of disparity. Maybe if you are collecting data from one state, you can do it in a month. Some other state might take 4 months for the same. People may not want to report. Cultural barriers are there, religious barriers are there. It is a very complex situation, for a country that is polycultural, for a country that's diverse. Things are not that easy. Okay. So for this question, answer is yes. Vikash says B. All right. Let's see who else has answered. Shubham, Dipesh, Johan, Veda, Reshma, Dishang, Konjuba, Lenny. Everyone is saying that the answer is B. Some people said it's D, but absolutely it's B. So very well answered, everyone. So happy. Now, why is it not D? Because clearly look at option number 2. Look at the second statement. Did you notice that properly? Always read the options thoroughly. Never be in a hurry. You might know 3. You may be confused with 1. Give it proper time. Cyber crimes in India are declining because people have better digital awareness and policing. No, that's not true. Cyber crimes have increased by 31.2%. I told you in the last to last slide. I gave you the data also. Because if people are using more data, more internet, they are being more susceptible to crimes also. In India, there is a cyber police. We do have these cells, but they don't work so efficiently. That's why 2 is not correct. Absolutely, Sachin. That's a correct answer. Yes, Rajneesh, I agree. Wow, that's so good. One says he's doing an internship of 30 days in Delhi police cybercrime. And you are seeing many cases are coming. Even after 1 month of the cyber fraud. They are usually blaming family members. That's a wonderful observation and thank you for sharing. These insights make our session so fruitful. Thank you, Vansh. I'm so obliged. Thank you so much. See, that's a reality. So he's giving a first ground observation and experience. And he's saying that, see, after 1 month, people come to report. And generally, they are blaming family members for that. My sister must have cheated me, or my cousin did that. And still, that's the narrow thinking. So they don't know that cyber crime in India is a professional level crime today. There are companies, corporations that are working on it in many states. See, that's the lack of awareness. So, yes, absolutely. Now, the next article quickly, editorial page, page number 8. They don't take action properly. Absolutely. They don't take. Cyber police doesn't take. One of my own relatives had gone and they said, okay, why do you do that? Why did you type the OTP? You should be more aware. Come some other day. Get more proof, all that. So it is absolutely very disturbing. Yes. Next article, page number 8. The real need is a holistic demographic mission. I will summarize this article quickly. GS paper 2, vulnerable communities, India's population as a problem. Yes, India is the most populated country in the world. About 1.3 billion people, 1.4 billion people. But also a country that's young because we have a youth bulge or demographic dividend, average Indian 28 years. We have a very complex situation where certain states, somebody had said, who said that? Was it Vikash who said that? Or was it Vansh or Dipesh? I forgot the name. Somebody said in Bihar, the fertility rate is 2.8 right now, much higher than the national average. So that's true. In certain states like UP, Bihar, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, there is a higher fertility rate. But there are certain states like Northeast, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka, Maharashtra, where fertility rate has fallen below 1.9. So some states are very young and some states are experiencing old population. Overall, by 2045, India will become an old country. But today we have time to solve the problem because we are young today. There is a youth bulge. Majority population is young and thriving, age group 15 to 59. But what is unfortunate is that Indian government had announced a holistic demographic mission. What was it? In 2025, August 15th, on Independence Day, the Indian government announced a demographic mission. What is demography? Study of population. So what is demographic mission? Population Mission 2025. But it was not a very good mission. Why was it not so well created? Because one, it only gives focus on controlling migration from neighborhood states like Bangladesh and Myanmar. It only talks about controlling the border population, cross-border infiltration, and how to control this. What it fails to talk about is how to utilize demographic dividend for India's growth. What it fails to talk about is why is fertility declining in industrial states and why is it still high in certain backward states. What it fails to talk about is how can we make futuristic policies for today's demographic situation of India. That is the issue here. And therefore, we are analyzing the 2025 demographic mission. The article says rather than focusing on population control and cross-border infiltration, we should focus on providing education, skill, and nutrition to Indian population before demographic dividend becomes demographic disaster. So therefore, the controversy is that we today are experiencing a fertility that is about 2.0 all India, according to NFHS round 5. This is very low because the perfect fertility should be 2.1. That is why it is called replacement level fertility. India has already achieved 2. That is much lower than that. One woman is not even having 2 children in most states. That means these populations will now become old, aged, grey population. And that's a dangerous thing. Because once you become a grey population, you become a country with higher dependency ratio, people who will not work. Your GDP, national income will decrease. Your expenditure on social welfare like pension, insurance will increase. Some states like Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Bihar are becoming old every single day. Whereas Bihar and UP are still young. That's causing a demographic imbalance in India. Ideally, according to Article 19 of the Indian Constitution, right to freedom, every individual in India who is a citizen can reside and settle in any part of India. They can move from one area to another and take up any job. But in reality, that doesn't happen. There is a concept of regionalism in India. GS paper 1, social issues. What is regionalism? When people of one state do not want to allow people from other states to come inside and work there. It is almost like an anti immigration agenda where you feel that only my culture and language are the best and outsiders will not be welcome here. That's regionalism. Sometimes regionalism is also called anti or negative nationalism. It is very unfortunate that states which are young, like UP and Bihar, who have a higher young labor force, do not have opportunities. And states which are getting old have opportunities, but young population is not there. So, what could be a good solution? If young people from UP and Bihar could have migrated and worked for the other states. But does that happen? That's regionalism. Hatred towards other culture, other language, violence, abuse, and that's the problem. It leads to wastage of demography. Absolutely, Vikash. Absolutely, order. Geriatric policies, silver economy, grey economy. Yes. Absolutely, Dipesh. Regionalism is also called son of the soil ideology, where you believe that since I am born in this state, I am the son of this state or the child of the state. And I will not allow outsiders to come and take jobs here. Just like what President Trump is feeling right now, America first policy. Yes? So that's the problem. Absolutely, absolutely order. The Skill India mission is needed. Yes, yes, Vikash. Delhi is 1.2, very, very low. Delhi's population fertility rate is 1.2, so low. Naturally, these places will become old. And where young people are living, you don't allow them to come. So, how will India grow? That's the problem. 65% of India's population today is below 35 years. But we are not able to use this because people are uneducated, undereducated, semi skilled. They don't have a job. Just look at what's happening in Bihar. Very interesting. First article we spoke about Bihar. First article was Bihar. Discouraged worker effect. What a paradox. And Bihar has the youngest population. You see, that's the problem. Human development skills is still lacking. Yes, we have the Skill India mission, but implementation is really very weak. Migration continues to be a political issue. Migration is not seen as an issue which could lead to economic growth. Life expectancy in India, people are on an average are living above 70 years. That means, as somebody said, order said, we need more geriatric policies. We need better policies for old people. More GDP spending on non-communicable diseases, old age diseases. More spending on insurance, pension, welfare policies. So India needs a better demographic mission, which is not just about controlling cross-border migration or population control. It should be about utilizing the demographic dividend plus taking care of the old people, because that's the reality of the future. There is nothing we can do about it. Can't deny that. We should make policies for active aging, where old people can also work as a resource through their experience. Like retired army professionals, they can work for intelligence agencies, they do that already. Retired teachers can contribute in syllabus and policy making, they do that already. That's what we need. So, India's demographic planning today severely depends on census. Now, the next census is coming. But census is a 10-year exercise. It comes only after 10 years. But what we need to do is to integrate this census with socio-economic caste census so that you actually know the level of backwardness across various states. Then, planning and resource relocation. Not only do we need to industrialize states like Bihar, UP, Rajasthan, plus, we need to allow smoother migration for such migrants of those states into better states. Rather than looking at per capita income, try to look at age structure of the population, how many people are dependent, how to improve migration, how to create more portable migration friendly policies. All that's needed. So, have a population policy that is looking at quality, demographic population bulge, old age policies, much better skilling India mission rather than a policy that just counts the number of people rather than a census that just tells you blankly how many people are in which age, which caste, which area. No. Identify the patterns, only then can policy making be made better, right? Now let's see the comments quickly. Absolutely. That's correct data you're giving, Vikash, there. Silver economy. Yes. Focus on Skill India mission order. I still agree. Correct, Vikash. India spends only 1.3% of GDP into healthcare right now, even after COVID pandemic. This needs a change for sure. It has to be at least 5% like developed economies. Today, as we are ramping up GDP on defense, medical cannot be neglected either. Okay. Okay, Vikash has answered. Which, with reference to the recently announced Demography Mission 2025, look at the following statements. Shubham answered as well. 1. The mission aims to monitor undocumented migration from neighboring countries and its impact on border areas. 2. It proposes to integrate demographic data with indicators of education, health, livelihood to enhance, improve human capacity mapping. And 3. Internal migration and aging population are included as core focus areas of the mission. Which of these statements do you think is or are valid? Okay. Dipesh answered, Vansh answered, Vikash, Shubham, Rajneesh, Dishank, Varsha. All of them are saying the answer is D, and so is it. Absolutely, it's D. Correct. Very well answered. Very well understood. Very well answered. Any doubt, please feel free. Very good, Eric. Correct. Well done. Now we are done with the important lengthy articles. Now is the time for quick news. Okay, now is the time for quick news. 1. Okay, Johan has answered it well, and that's correct. India's Kabul mission to be upgraded to embassy. So do you remember back in 2021 when Taliban took over Afghanistan, as US armies surrendered and ran back and gave the country of Afghanistan back to Taliban, the extremist regime, which is also being blamed for creating so much gender disparity, taking away the independence of women. 1 month back, there was an article which said that women are not even allowed to now stand outside windows. They can't even have windows in their house, let alone working in education. So all those complaints were making rounds. We had so many news that spoke about human right deprivation, but from then to now, look at the change. Within 4 years, apart from some other countries, Indian government is ready to now recognize Taliban, and it will upgrade the relationship between India and Taliban from just having an embassy, just having a small mission in Afghanistan to now a full-blown, full-scale embassy of India. That's the change. And this was announced by India's External Affairs Minister Sri Jaishankar, who said India is fully committed now to accept and recognize Afghanistani Taliban as a sovereign independent nation. And India strongly criticizes the cross-border attacks that are being done by Pakistan into Afghanistan. Now, you might find this funny if I say this to you. Have you ever heard this old age quotation which says that enemy's enemy becomes a friend? Have you heard that? Have you heard that quotation? Enemy's enemy becomes a friend. Something similar is happening. So Pakistan has not only portrayed after Pahalgam attack in April that it is a major source of cross-border threat and intrusion in India, but today Pakistan is doing the same thing across Afghanistan too. The Balochistan area is also heavily under problem right now. Yes, correct. Regional strategy, smart strategy. Enemy's enemy is a friend. So today, Taliban being an enemy of Pakistan is becoming a welcome friend for India. So Indian government is saying, let's have a close cooperation between both the countries. Let's look at more stability and resilience across the area. And therefore, India is making an embassy here. India had closed its embassy in 2021 when Taliban had forcefully taken over Afghanistan. But now the embassy will function back. It happened as the leaders of both the countries met It is for the first time that India has offered such a huge recognition for Taliban. Both the countries are trying to say, let us stop cross border terrorism from Pakistan, as order. Who said that? As Kompala said that, yeah, dushman ka dushman becomes a dost. Absolutely. Enemy's enemy is always a friend. Yes. Okay, I will explain, Reshma. I will clear your doubt in 1 minute, dear. Okay, I'll come back to that. That is true. That is true, Johan. I so agree what you just said. That's a valid comment. So that's the news. Well, that's it. Then the next news quickly for the day. Kerala's Chief Minister, Shri Pinarayi Vijayan, has once again said that the central government needs to give more financial help to Kerala because Kerala has experienced massive landslides in Wayanad that led to huge damage of infrastructure and people lost their lives. So Kerala demands 2,221 crore rupees for rehabilitation right now. But critics are saying it is not a new demand. In the last 5 years, many times Kerala has also said that Central Finance Commission does not do correct and deserved amount of vertical devolution of funds to Kerala. Because we all know Central Finance Commission gives money in two ways: horizontal devolution, vertical devolution. So Kerala always feels that states like Bihar and Uttar Pradesh, because they are highly populated and socially economically slightly backward, they get more money. But states like Kerala, which have controlled their population successfully and which are highly urbanized, they get less money from the central government. This Kerala has felt is a very unfair policy. Quite recently, Kerala had also wanted to borrow money from a country outside, a Middle Eastern country, but Indian government refused that, saying that it should not be allowed for a state to borrow money from outside the country. Kerala had a complaint with that. Today, the same thing is happening. The government of Kerala says, we really hope that the center understands that in order to rehabilitate the people in Wayanad, we need more money. So the controversy is going on. Still, Kerala feels that it needs better share in the divisible pool of Central Finance Commission. And today, this demand is also there. Similarly, Kerala also demands, one more demand is coming, to establish another All India Institute of Medical Sciences. Where? In Kozhikode. So these are certain demands that Kerala has made. Absolutely order. It's about coalition devolution. Correct. Devolving or decentralizing money. Next article, Nobel Prize. We have discussed about Nobel Prize in Medicine, Physiology. Yes. Yes, we did. FP3 gene, FOXP3 gene. We spoke about TREGS, autoimmune disease, medical. We spoke about physics, Nobel Prize, quantum computing. We spoke about chemistry, Nobel Prize, MOF, mix of metals and carbon compounds. Today we are talking about, yesterday we spoke about Nobel Prize literature. A writer from Hungary has received Nobel Prize in literature. Yes, Vikash. Yes, Johan. Today we speak about Nobel Prize in peace. Now, somebody in the world is not happy. Can anybody tell me who is not happy? Nobel Peace Prize 2025 is here. A lady from Venezuela has got the prize, but somebody is very unhappy. Who is unhappy? Can anybody tell me? Think about it. Across the whole world, who is not happy? Who is not happy? Across the whole world, who has got the biggest heartbreak? As this lady, opposition leader from Venezuela, Miss Maria Corina, has got Nobel Peace Prize. Yes, Dishank. Yes, Vikash. Mr. Trump, President Trump is very unhappy. Last 10 days before, he was saying that if I don't get the Nobel Peace Prize, it is a defeat of American sentiment. Big statement. But today it comes like a slap on the face. Yes, he did not get it. Yes, absolutely, Rajneesh, Eric Deshang, smartly observed. Yes, Varsha. That's what I wanted to hear. Correct. Yes, Veda. Correct. Ex-friend. Yes. No Nobel Prize. Sorry. Sorry, boss. No prize for you here. Yes. No prize for you. So therefore, Venezuelan opposition leader Miss Maria Corina, She was a key leader in Venezuela who's working to establish democracy. Okay, she's the one who has fought for democracy, just like the Myanmari leader Aung San Suu Kyi. This lady here, Maria Corina Machado, has won the Nobel Peace Prize this time for her fight towards democracy. But okay, fine, don't feel that bad also. She has at least thanked President Trump for supporting Venezuela in restoring its democracy. So that's all. And she says, I dedicate this prize to Trump. So in Hindi, we call it Jale pe namak chidakna. It's like, when somebody is already in a very tattered situation, you further come and add fire to that. So she dedicates the peace prize to Mr. Trump. And I don't know how he must have felt, but okay, that's not relevant for UPSC. We need to know the prize, who received it. And this is all for her efforts to restore democracy. Okay, just remember. Yeah, at least she is thankful, Dipesh. Correct. She's showing gratitude to Mr. Trump. Correct. Now the next one. Trump threatens massive tariffs on China among Beijing's rare earth move. So many times in the past few days we have spoken about rare earth materials. 17 such materials like galenium, so many of them, germanium. These are certain materials which are utilized to create solar cell batteries, electronic vehicle batteries, smartphones, electronic components, semiconductors. The world needs them. But the problem is very few countries have them. Very few countries like Chile, Australia, and Japan and China have them. But here also China leads the world in rare earth mining also, rare earth reserve also. And today China has taken an advantage of that once again. China has once again said, I will stop exporting rare earth material. This will create a cascading impact on the whole world, as many countries including India depends on supply from China itself. Angered by this attitude of China, President Trump says, I will punish China. I will create a massive tariff on China once again. Remember when he had done the same with India? He had imposed 143% tariff on China. But later, because of negotiation, he said, I will reduce it to 30%. Today, once again, he is threatening. And what is most shocking is that he has cancelled his meeting that was about to happen in October with Chinese leader President Xi Jinping. They both were ready to meet. But Mr. Trump is angry. He said, no more meeting now. I am not going for the meeting anymore. Because this decision of China, which is controlling 70% of global production of rare earth material in processing and refining capacity, will impact production of semiconductors, smartphone, everything in US, Japan, Europe, India, everywhere. So now what? Correct. Absolutely. Very well said order. Yes. Morocco phosphate. Correct. Yes, because China supplies 70%. 90% processing done by China. Yes, Reshma. Absolutely, my dear. Scandium, lanthanides, all these are the examples. Correct. Yes, Dipesh. Electronic vehicles. Yes, Vikash. Semiconductors. Absolutely. So what is happening if China is leading and China reduces to supply? What happens to us? So what about India? Yes, India is working towards semicon mission. India also have some reserves of rare earth materials, not as high as Australia, Chile, China, Japan, but still we have. And these are mostly found in monazite sands. Monazite sands in Kerala. Now this is important for prelims. Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Andhra and Odisha. Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Andhra, Odisha. Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Andhra, Odisha. Some reserves of rare earth material, monazite sands. Problem is we still don't lack the technology of mining them properly and refining them properly. One thing is it's very difficult to do. It needs manpower and investment. Second, it's very expensive and not climate friendly at all. So that's why we depend so much on China. Absolutely. US hasn't banned the NVIDIA chips to China, but it did so for other countries. Okay? Yes, absolutely. Correct. Because of engagement with Iran, Dipesh. Correct. So that's it. That's the news for the day. Okay. So quickly, one last question. I think we have done now. Okay. One last article in the passing, but that's not important. Quickly, the last question. With reference to recent US-China tensions over rare earth material, look at the following questions. One, China accounts for majority of global REM. Production and refining, 70 and 90%, we know that. Two, rare earth elements are important for manufacturing semiconductors, electric vehicles, and defense equipment. Three, India has a huge reserve of rare earth but lacks adequate processing and refining infrastructure. And D, four, US has imposed export restrictions on rare earths to counter China's dominance. Okay, which of these are correct? Thorium deposit and monazite sand. Yes, Vikash. Critical minerals mission, semiconductor mission. Correct. Vikash, Joham, Varsha, all of them are saying the answer is D. Is it D? Is it in fact even D? Let's verify. How come the majority says it's D but it's not D this time? Let's see. Okay. Let's look at the first statement. First statement is correct. Why is it correct? Because we all understand China owns 90% of refining capacity of rare earth materials, 70% of reserves. Correct. Second, rare earth materials are important for making EVs, solar cells. Correct. 1 and 2 are 100% correct. If 1 and 2 are correct, that means B and C anyway cannot be correct. Now 1, A and D are confusing. Let's look at 3. India has a significant amount of rare earth material. Yes, we do. We just saw Kerala, Andhra, Odisha, all these states. But we can't mine because we don't have that procedure. Third is also correct. What about fourth? US has imposed export restrictions. Did US import export restrictions on REMs? US did so on, what did US restrict? AI chip fabrication technology, semiconductor technology, like NVIDIA chips we were talking about. Certain things US has restricted, but not exactly restricted REM. Because that is why he's so angry, President Trump, and he says, I will punish China. Because ultimately, US also depends on supply that comes from China. Who other has so much capacity of rare earth material? US doesn't have that much. So 4 cannot be correct, no. Then absolutely A will be the answer. Is that okay? Did you understand? If no, we can take it up later for further discussion. So therefore, A will be the answer. Now, before I take your leave, ceasefire is being implemented, by the way. Remember, 20-point peace program led by President Trump has been accepted by Hamas and Israel both. Now, from today, Israel is slowly receding and vacating the West Gaza area because both of them are ready to give up arms and give up active conflict. Israel is now stopped shelling and attacking Gaza. Slowly, he is revising, he is going back. They are also ready to release 2,000 prisoners of Palestine provided their own hostages come back. So that's it for today. Let's see what news comes on Monday now. Let me quickly come back to the comments. Okay. Yes, Dishang, US has not. Reshma says it's A. No, absolutely, Veda. I'm so happy that you're answering. One or two, see, answers itself, it doesn't mean anything that you answered right or wrong. What matters is you understood. That's the win-win thing for me, at least. Yes, order. US has chips, China has minerals, but China has ships also. Yes, that's correct, Eric. Absolutely. So I hope it's clear to everybody now. All right. Thank you so much, my dear. Thank you so much for this lovely session, for making it so interactive. I really enjoy and look forward to this session every day only because of all of you. Now, as a protocol, as a quick reminder, for those, anybody you know, your friend, your colleague, if they are preparing for 2026, please remind them that we have the fast track batch sale. So they can now enroll for it only at 7499 if they are looking for GS mentorship, optional mentorship, CSAT or current affairs, whether they are an Hindi aspirant, English or a bilingual aspirant. Please remind them because the sale is valid only for today. Then also for those who are studying for 27 and 28 batch, we have the Great Indian Festival sale. Diwali is around the corner. So we are celebrating the sale, and same thing for all the batches, all languages, morning, evening, October batch. Please use codes FLY for those who are interested. If anybody you know is interested, you can let them know. Plus, if anybody wants to fill up a form, it's also here in the description box. Reach out to us, we'll get back to you. See you on Monday. Let me work on the PDF uploading now for you. Yes, Dishank. India wants to focus on diversifying supply chain. Thank you, Varsha, Reshma, Dishank, Sakshi, Dipesh, Vikash, Order, everybody, Johan, whose name is here, and those names who were just before that. Thank you, each one of you. God